Good afternoon, Yakima Rotary. It's time to Rotarize, energize, socialize, and personalize. So I'm going to have you stay seated, but I do want to mention Jen Luring and Craig Mendenhall, who are our greeters today. So thank you for doing that. So today is National Thrift Store Day. And we have our own thrift store here in the corner back here. If you haven't gone through it, if you haven't purchased anything yet, you have that opportunity to do so. But I just wanted to, be a living example of thrift store shopping. So I'd like you to see my outfit today. Most of it. Who am I wearing? Just a second. I'm glad you said that. Because, where'd my list go? That's in my pocket.
Has that got a Lee Seaman label in it?
It's not that old. A nice try. Okay. Let's see what I've got here. I've got a Jones of New York jacket. I have Ted Baker. We all heard of Ted Baker, right? Ted Baker slacks. Oh, you have? Oh, you have. Okay. Oh, it was strange that you knew about Ted Baker slacks. Men's slacks. Anyway, a Ralph Lauren chaps. Oh, shirt. If I can get myself out of here. Striped shirt. And let's see. Bass leather slip-ons.
Wow.
Leather soles, almost brand new. Oh, and some accessory items. Mariner's hat. A Mariner's hat. And it lights up. And then I had an opportunity to pick up the Hawaiian shirt that I need to wear to the Hawaiian-themed 5-year-old birthday party. So I got that. So who wants to guess how much I paid for my ensemble and the Hawaiian shirt and the hat? Anybody want to guess? Oh, I saw these up here. These are kind of cool. I don't know if it adds anything or not. They were just up there, so anyway.
Okay, I'll fix it.
Any guesses?
65.
65? 125? Under $50. So, that's how we kick off National Thrift Store Day at our Rotary meeting. Okay, I think we have a little bit more thrift store in store for us with David Rogers, and I'll let him introduce.
I wish I could say I was wearing this shirt because of National Thrift Store Day, but pretty much my entire summer wardrobe was bought at thrift stores. I was a musician in West Coast Florida, so here we are. But today's music definitely does come from that theme. I immediately thought of a smash hit from about 10 years ago from Seattle-based Matt Lamore and Ryan Lewis. For those of you who know the original version of this song, you'll appreciate how long it took me to find a version that we could present. There are some amazingly entertaining brass band arrangements, but even there, the band would put down their instruments just long enough to shout out some profanity and then pick up instruments. But you'll be happy to know that the vocal group Pentatronics has done their homework and scrubbed it clean so we can all enjoy a family-friendly rendition of Thrift Shop.
Someday, I got $20 in my pocket. Looking
butterscotch.
But hey, it was 99 cents.
Looking for a come up. This is freaking awesome. Shut up, fool.
Our invocation today is being presented by Tom Frula. Thank you, Tom.
I occasionally get asked about this crazy cane, and besides just getting old, I had a really, really positive experience a while back of trading in a very, very old, totally worn out, and very painful knee for a brand new one. That went extremely well, and I'm very happy, thanks to Orthopedics Northwest, and they didn't pay me for that. But regaining strength and balance for an old man is slow, so that's why the cane. So anyway, so as I think about our program today and service to our community, I broaden out my thinking to all kinds of services in our community, and obviously I think about the medical community since it has helped me a great deal. And I'm very grateful for organizations, individuals that serve us and serve others, even those that are less fortunate than some of us. So I think it's good for us to take a moment to just think about how much we have to be thankful for. So join me in an invocation. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for many blessings that we enjoy here in our community, in our club, in our friendships and associations. Thank you for all the folks that take such good care of us. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you, Tom. One more thing about my thrift store shopping. I'm going to come over to Kevin Bacon, and I just want you to see the style that I was trying to emulate. So I don't get close. I don't know. I like his better, actually.
It's okay. I think the compliment.
He looks just like, doesn't he look like that actor? I said that? Oh my God. Everybody, well, one more spot over here. I want to see my friend Jim Bressy. And I'm just going to ask Jim, stand up, Jim. Where did you get this outfit? This store. Okay. You look great. Okay. I think we have David Links. Yep. And he's in the wings.
President Rick and members of Rotary, husband Tim grew up in the Yakima Valley. She graduated from Toppenish High School, and Tim is a graduate from Davis High School. They moved around a bit from Utah to Iowa to Bremerton, and then to Yakima Valley, returned to Yakima Valley after 35 years to offer a unique integrated health clinic that offers occupational health, chiropractic, medical massage, health coaching, and weight loss. Mary has worked in the healthcare field since 2001 and has been researching the philosophy of toxicity and deficiency independently for the last 15 years. As a health coach, she runs the office weight loss program and offers health coaching sessions. As a business owner, she wears many hats depending on the need of that particular day. Although born in Mexico, Mary has lived in the United States since she was 2 months old, and she has said she is proud to be a naturalized citizen of this great country. She is number 11 of 12 children, and credits that for the reason her family, as the phrase says, closes 6 in a bed, because they actually did sleep 6 in a bed in the early days of their arrival to this country. She's been married to Tim McFadden, Doctor of Chiropractic, for 39 years, and they have raised 5 of their own children, 4 nephews, and a few friends along the way for short periods of time. When not in the office, Mary enjoys gardening, quilting, serving in the community and church, and spending time with her family and 2 precious granddaughters. Would you please give a warm Rotary welcome to Mary McFadden?
Being part of us means that you get to receive a number of items. One is a plaque for your wall, whichever wall you choose. Your red badge, which you'll get to convert to a blue badge in a short period of time, we hope. This is the Rotary roster, so you know how to find all of us. And the most coveted, is what they say anyway, service above self, Rotary, license plate holder. So welcome to the club. Thank you. All right, I think it's picnic time, is it not? Do I see Matt Martinkus here? Oh, Matt is Carolyn's running to find out if he's.
No, he's not here.
He's not here. Okay. Well, I think he was expecting to be here, but I will fill in for him. On September 1st is our Rotary picnic. It is at Franklin Park. We are also going to have, starting at 5 o'clock, I think it runs 5 to 7. There'll be pickleball. I think that's going to run 4 to 6. Nancy Leahy and Phil Fossum are going to help organize that. State Fossum from the Sport House is going to provide some extra paddles and balls for those who have to play pickleball and want to try it out. So that's available. Bring your kids, bring your grandkids. There'll be games and activities provided by Bruce Bacon and I suspect his son-in-law, Tom. It's a guess on my part, but I believe so. And did I hear Fiesta Foods is going to be providing our tasty meal, and invite you to sign up on the table. There's sign-up sheets there. Let us know that you're coming, how many, so we can make sure we're well prepared for you. September 1st, Franklin Park. Sergeant of Arms, Kevin Good. Nicole Donegan.
Ooh. All right, let's see if I can remember what Cody's slides 6 minutes ago. All right, today's Sergeant at Arms is not going to be following the theme of our speaker today. We're going to be talking auction or bust, Rotary quiz game. All right. So those of you who are members, please get out a couple bucks. We all know the drill. Let's go through it. Few questions. All right. Question 1: general auction info. When were the earliest auctions recorded? So when were the first auctions in history recorded? No Googling, no phones. Was it 1200 AD? Oh, we already have a 3000 BC, a while ago.
think it's D.
Any guesses? C. That is correct. And the reason the spears here is instead of a gavel in those first auctions, I guess we would call the auctioneer would slam a spear to the ground. There we go. Question 2.
You didn't know that, Theodore.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't know that, Theodore. In 193 AD, Julius Julianus, who knows who that is?
No.
Nobody, I didn't either. Bid an equivalent of $1 billion to acquire which empire? Was it the Roman Empire? Was it the Persian Empire? The Ottoman Empire? Or the Lazy Empire?
Persian.
Ottoman. It was the Roman Empire. That is the statue of our current president. Oddly looks does it not? They also be auctioned off. Okay. They sold what? In 2012, the throne used by a popular figure in history was auctioned on eBay with a starting bid of $1 million, advertised as uncleaned. I almost said uncleaned, which is true. And original. What was it? Was it Queen Victoria's throne from Buckingham Palace? The first Iron Throne used in HBO's Game of Thrones. You know what Game of Thrones is? Was it the Dragon Throne of China? Or was it J.D. Salinger's toilet?
What are your guesses?
D.
J.D. Salinger's toilet. $1 million starting with. All right. Now to dive into the Rotary auction quiz specifically, test your knowledge of our club and what we do to raise funds here. At what frequency does the downtown Rotary host its auction? Is it annually? Is it biannually? Semi-annually? There's some. How many of us know the difference between the two? Good question. Or whatever Carolyn feels like.
D.
And Ariana, we're gonna figure like it. I say biannually. That's my definition of every other year. Okay. So this is a Rotary auction. Where does the money go that we raise? Is it back to Rotary International for dues? A lot of dues. The current president's fund? Where is the president's fund? More thrift shopping, perhaps? Yakima Rotary Charities for the scholarships, committee work, the like. Or to Harry Ellison for being such a good sport, and being the butt of everybody's joke in such good arms. I promise I can do that. It is C. All right. Getting more granular. What date is the next auction? Okay, wow.
It says on here, doesn't it?
Well, we kind of have cheat sheets on the table.
It's because of the save the dates we sent out, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, November 19th, that is it. Also whenever Carolyn feels like it, so. Okay. Don't look at your tables. What is this year's auction theme? Is it Mission Impossible? Jubilee? Anybody knows auction history? Masquerade or Game On? And those are the 90s down there. Iron Man, Spider-Man. Whoa! Gets it. Game On, that's right. Returning after 2 years of COVID and 4 years of not being in person for an auction, it is Game On. Here we go. What is the dress code for Game On? Uh-oh. This is, I guess this is within the theme today. Is it formal with a touch of whimsy? Black tie optional? Jean shorts and flip-flops? Or togas?
Togas.
It is A. Nicole can give some color on what that is.
Yeah, we've had some questions of what exactly a touch of whimsy is. And our idea is just to make it fun, those things that take you back to the things that you dressed up as when you were a kid. Maybe it's putting a pair of cowboy boots with your dress, or wearing high tops with your tux, or just adding a tiara to your dress, to your gown, were a kid and all the fun you had when you were out playing with your friends when you were a kid. That's what we're trying to get back to, that feeling of fun and nostalgia.
Any questions on that?
There
That's
you
right.
go.
It could be a tuxedo t-shirt or a Canadian tuxedo.
And there will be a lot of, I'm guessing, alma maters represented.
Yes.
So maybe it's wearing your Letterman jacket over your gown or over your tux. So
It'll be the
just a
second.
thought.
You
Absolutely.
could. All right. And then final question, how can you help? This is a very important event for our club, raises a lot of money, which is anticipated or intended to cover a couple of years worth of budgets. So how can we help? You can donate a live auction if you have an idea for a vacation, a dinner, something interesting that maybe only you have access to, but others may not. That is something that we can use for live auction. Donate silent auction items, from a volume perspective, usually you can have a few hundred silent auction items. So if you feel like you can donate one of those, please do. Become a table captain. We're shooting for 800 people for this one, folks. It's been a while. We're hoping that the pent-up demand that we keep talking about will bring folks out to our auction. So if you'd like to be a table captain, all you have to do is identify 9 of your friends. I know we only have 1 or 2 each, but if you can have 9 of our friends, be a table captain. And of course, help with decoration and any and all of the above. So any and all would be welcome.
So as you walked in today, you may have seen we had a lot of sheets along the front wall. They're sign-up sheets for, just if you want to jot your name down on those, and whoever is chairing that particular area will get in touch with you if you're willing to give a live auction item or a silent auction. I might see Kyle's on silent auction, so he will reach out if you are willing to donate some of the games that we have in mind, a purse or a premium liquor or a bottle of wine. Any of those are up on the wall. Anything you can do to help, we'd be happy to take that help. But we just thought this might be a good idea to get everybody engaged while we're here.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've got all the bricks and junk up here. Don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I am so excited. We have 2 of my favorite people in all of Yakima that will be speaking with us today. And so let me introduce them both. First of all, Aaron Ruff, who was raised in Deer Park, Washington, just north of Spokane. Coming from a family of engineers, contractors, and social workers, Aaron was the musical black sheep of the family and received his bachelor's in secondary music education and his master's in secondary education from Whitworth College, University, I'm sorry. As an educator, Aaron taught K through 8 developmental music and choir for several Catholic schools in the Spokane area, and then became the middle school and high school band director in Ortang, Washington. It was at Ortang that he met his wife, Megan. Having always been interested in service ministry that they could engage in together, Aaron and Megan decided to train as officers in the Salvation Army and were commissioned as lieutenants in 2018. Their first assignment lasted 3 years in Kaneohe, Hawaii, where they, wouldn't that be tough to have your first assignment in Hawaii? That would be really difficult. Where they directed the Salvation Army's Food Security Initiative, Emergency Disaster Response, Youth Mentoring, and pastored over a multicultural congregation on Windward, Oahu, which is on the east side of Oahu. In July 2021, they were assigned as the commanding officers of all Salvation Army programs and services in Yakima, and they absolutely love this community. Along with their 3 daughters, ages 6, 4, and 2, they continue to fulfill the mission of the Salvation Army to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and meet human needs in his name without discrimination. When Aaron manages to find free time, he enjoys coaching, playing, and watching soccer, cooking, hiking, martial arts, and all things music. Aaron Ruff. Our next
next speaker is Mike Johnson, who is the CEO of the Union Gospel Mission of Yakima. On his 18th birthday, Mike enlisted into the U.S. Army Rangers. While serving, Mike was privileged to learn leadership from some of his generation's most distinguished operators, tested many of the coolest new toys, and blew a bunch of stuff up. Occasionally, including some of the Army's coolest new toys. I bet they did go over well. Mike met and married Nina Yakima while he was still Ranger. They now have 31 wedding anniversaries behind them and 7 adopted children. Mike is a distinguished graduate of Albany Christian University and Pepperdine University. After a decade as a church pastor, Mike joined Seattle's Union Gospel Mission in 2007 as the director of downtown Seattle operations. Lacking a, air quotes here, medium setting, Mike spearheaded the Climbing Out of Homelessness in 2011. The program has reached the summit of Rainier 8 times with 43 men and women, many who are overcoming addiction and homelessness themselves. For over a decade, Mike has influenced his field to adopt trauma-informed practices grounded in research from the CDC and NIMH. In this, Mike owes much to the influence of his wife, Dina, who has been practicing licensed mental health professional for over 15 years. Mike was previously the CEO of the Tacoma Rescue Mission, a member of the Pierce County Workforce Development Council, and of the Tacoma 2025 Citizens Advisory Committee. Mike loves his family, Jesus, and his job, and is already and absolutely loved his move to Yakima. He is actively recruiting all of his friends to join us here in the best city he thinks in the state of Washington. He knows that this will only drive up housing costs, but sometimes you just gotta do it. Mike and Aaron, please join us up here.
It's not happening. Take it away, Aaron.
Well, we are absolutely privileged and stoked to get to talk to you guys today. Just want to make sure that we clear something up, though. I know many of you might have been thinking about this when President Rick was going over his ensemble. Neither of our stores carry undergarments, so I'll answer some questions that were left.
You're explaining why Rick is going commando right now?
That was his joke.
I was not supposed to reveal that. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
So, we're here to talk about thrifting and what it means to this community, what it gets done for our programs and services, and also what it really accomplishes to both of our missions, and how, when you shop or donate at one of our thrift stores, you become a partner in what we do. Now, for Union Gospel Mission, I love your guys' branding. We know what you guys do. You're in the sheltering services. I grew up telling people that I do not go to church in a thrift store. That's a common question we get. You see the shield, or we hear this all the time at kettles. Oh, you guys do some good work. So I always give when I go to the kettle. But if I were to follow up with, well, what kind of good work do we do? They just be like, you guys do the Lord's work. It's good stuff. Let's just go move on. And then they duck into the store. So we want to tell you, when you donate to our thrift stores or when you shop at our thrift stores, let's start by informing you what you're partnering with. Shall we do that? Can we do that? Okay. Mike, you want to go ahead and go over?
I'd love it actually if you went first.
I can absolutely do that.
Just keep going.
Okay, I'll just keep going. So let's talk about Salvation Army programs and services in Yakima. We have kind of 3 legs that we stand on, 3 pillars that meet our mission, which you heard earlier read in the bio. And they are combating student food insecurities. While the Salvation Army is in Yakima, Our goal is that no kid goes hungry. There's roughly 6 of you at a table right now. That's about what we're at. Would you quickly just no-nos goes? And would one of you from every table please stand up? One from every table? Just one. One from every table, please stand up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably, 75-ish in here total? So we could say that's maybe, let's go 3 kindergarten classes. Out of 3 kindergarten classes in Yakima Valley, this is the number of kids that are going hungry every day. 1 in 6 children are experiencing hunger every day in Yakima. And while the Salvation Army is in town, we're looking to stamp that out. And we're not the only organization. We've got some brilliant partners, some of which are in this room, that help us combat student food insecurities. But that's one of the things that we do. We have backpack feeding programs in multiple elementary schools to make sure kids are going home with food, not just for them, but for their families. And between 6 post-secondary schools that have food bank infrastructure on site, so whether it's in the counseling office or a dedicated space, all of or most of that food comes from us, to the tune of 750 secondary students a month in our school systems. And we're not even in every secondary school. So combating student food security initiatives, that's one of the ways that you partner us. We also look to maximize student opportunities in Yakima as best as we can. Salvation Army operates an after-school program and a summer day camp program under the guise of we are the after-school program and the summer day camp program that if we did not exist, these kids would not be experiencing that. How many of you have kids or grandkids in the area? A month of after-school care, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. a month. How does $65 a month sound? What if I told you we subsidize and scholarship that down to nothing if the family needs it? Kids who would not be, and I know that's not a viable business plan. Half of you are looking at me right now. We want to maximize opportunities for Yakima youth. And then finally, the third pillar that we have is we want to systematically move families away from intergenerational poverty and towards stability and success. And we do that through the variety of our services, but mainly through a 12-month-long case management program called Pathway of Hope, in which we buffet them with everything we have. You need childcare? After-school program's free. You need food access? Come do a client choice shopping experience at our food pantry. You need any of the services we're connected to in Yakima? We will carve out financial and time and space for you so that you can go back to school, you can save up for that first and last month and deposit, you can do what you need to do as a family, take parenting classes, financial management, so that we can move you away from being in jeopardy of being intergenerational poverty and moving towards stability and success. That is like the 3 main pies that we have our fingers in. If you know the Salvation Army, we do a lot more than just that. But when you shop at the store on 6 in Yakima, or you donate your goods there, you are partnering in those ministries. And we occupy a really unique spot in the poverty spectrum. And this is, I'm going to start to hand it over here. But Mike and I, we're standing up here kind of shoulder to shoulder. And if we were to put poverty on a spectrum, you would have this end of homelessness and addiction and needing those services. And what I love about this presentation and getting to talk to you today is that that's right where UGM sits.
Yeah, so we're right next to Salvation Army in addressing the poverty continuum. We're at the end of the continuum when you can't afford a place to be, when you're out on the street. That we sort of view that as the end of the poverty continuum. And so Salvation Army is generally operating one step up the poverty continuum from us. And so, can I pick it up?
Yeah.
Awesome. So when you shop at our stores, and we're not as known for our stores as the Army has been, we're sort of the new players in thrift. Thank you, by the way, to the team for setting up the pop-up store today. It's been a really great area for us, and that growth for Union Gospel Mission in thrift has allowed us to grow our programs. And so we've been able to add staff in outreach, We've been able to add staff in case management in our shelter. We've been able to add staff into our addiction recovery program. We've been able to do a couple of things that we really needed to do that just generally are hard to fundraise for, like a second HR person. You generally know, it's really hard to go out there and say, hey, will you contribute to the Union Gospel Mission? Because we need another HR person. And that just doesn't, HR doesn't inspire donations. I don't even know why that is. If you're an HR professional, my apologies to you. I know how important you are. But apparently the rest of the community doesn't like you. No, I'm kidding. But the thing is like we've had a lot of needs that we've been able to meet because of the growth in the stores. Thank you. That's been a really critical part in us being able to step into more need. And we're meeting a lot of needs that people don't know that we're meeting either. We're known for shelter, we're known for feeding. Did you know we served over 100,000 meals last year? Over 100,000 meals. Like, that's a lot of feeding. And people know us for that stuff. What they don't necessarily know is that our outreach teams are going out 7 nights a week into the streets. We're not waiting for people to come to us anymore. And that we were able to bring folks back in off the street 255 times last year. 255 times, yes, exactly. The shelter itself, because we were able to add that case management because of stores, right? The shelter was able to move people up and out of our shelter 110 times last year. 110 people that aren't homeless. They went into our recovery program, into somebody else's recovery program, they moved home with family, they got into housing through our partnerships with folks like Neighborhood Health and other things like that. It was 110 people that the shelter was able to move up and out of shelter. And in large part it was because of that case management that we were able to add because of the stores. A lot of people don't know that what happens on North First is a family shelter as well, an intact family shelter for 10 or 11 families. And last year, 3,596 bed nights of safe shelter were delivered to minor children at 1,300 North First. Like, wrap your head around that. Like that, it's just there's a lot of need here, and I think that people just don't even know about, right? So it's need that we're meeting that people don't even know exists, and so they don't know we're meeting it because they didn't know the need existed in the first place, right? It's amazing. And so so we're known for the feeding, we're known for the sheltering. A lot of people are surprised when they find out that we have transitional housing, year-long addiction recovery program with a 1-year success rate 5 times the national average. Nationally, on average, drug and alcohol treatment short-term is 30, 60, 90 days. And the success rate for that stuff is just under 18% on average. A year later, people that go through short-term treatment are still clean and sober. That's about 80% for our graduates. Because we have the ability to really work with folks over a long period of time. For a year, we can take them. And then I think also people are really surprised to find out that the mission runs the largest free medical clinic in Washington State. It is the busiest, most visited free clinic in Washington State. Happens right here in Yakima because of you, because of the support of this community. And it's medical and it's dental. And I'm really, really excited for a couple years from now when we get to bring to fruition the plans to open the mental health department within the care center as well. So there's a lot going on, a lot going on at both of these places. And that's what we mean when we say that your donations of gently used clothing and household items are able to go to the stores and do the most good. If you don't mind me ripping off your towel for just a little bit. It's doing a lot of good.
It is, and just a quick show of hands, like how many of you, we just talked about the services that we provide and that are supported and propped up by our stores. How much, was there any education that just happened for you? Any new learning? Fantastic. And that's one of the things that we really wanted to highlight. We also want to highlight this unique phenomenon that's happening right now, which is kind of interesting. How many times in Rotary would you have 2 people competing in the same marketplace presenting together? And that really comes down to the fact, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more later, but that comes down to the fact that you're dealing with 2 organizations, you're dealing with 2 individuals that love the Valley, that love Yakima, that love the people here and want to express that love in the way, through our services and through our programming. And really, not to get all mushy on you, but when you're shopping our stores, you drive through those donations, you're saying it too. I love this community enough to take my goods here or to shop here, knowing that it's going to prop up programs and services. And you should know for both of us, the same promise we make with those red kettles that you so graciously ring at during the holiday season. Sidebar, real quick.
I ring a kettle for you guys every year.
Did you know Rotary, we sent a letter, but I don't know if it got to you, general membership. Last year, downtown Rotary, raised over $15,000 at the Red Kettle for Salvation Army programs and services through your sign-ups. That is the largest single volunteer contribution through hours through bell ringing in the state of Washington, in the Northwest Division. And I have to do my homework. I have to crunch some numbers. They didn't make it easy for me and just tell me. But I would reckon, I don't know of another single organization manning an entire week of kettles at a minimum of 3 sites. I think it was 4 or 5 this last year. Territorially, which is Alaska, Hawaii, Arizona to Montana, and the rest of the West Coast that involves. I don't know of another organization that spends as much time at the Red Kettle helping our mission more than this Rotary Club in the entire country. And just like our Red Kettles, every single penny that's spent at our store stays in this community to help prop up our programs and services, and I know the same is true.
Tell them what happens to a shirt. So they drop off a shirt at Salvation Army. What happens?
So we get a little shirt that gets dropped in. We'll take that Hawaii shirt that the president picked up. This is a good find. And that shirt gets dropped off, and it immediately goes to a sorting area. It might be manned by paid staff, might be manned by volunteers, depending on the day. But when they see that retail item come through, and they inspect it for general cleanliness, for holes or anything that might detract from its sale, and once it passes that, then it's going to go to kind of the pricing station. And they might look at it and say, I think this is a good deal, but more often than not, it's a little bit more refined. We'll try to make sure that we're matching the like retail that is on the floor, or potentially even looking it up to see what the brand is, and there's different things that you can pay into that nationally track thrift pricing, so that we can make sure that it's a fair market value for that donated good. Not because we're interested in making a ton of money, but because we're interested in supporting our programs and services as best as we can, right? So from there, we'll make sure that it's got a general cleaning. If it needs any TLC before it hits the floor, it gets wrapped and it gets sent out. And then we track our inventory, so if it's there for too long, then you're going to start to see a yellow tag or a 50% off or something like that.
How does somebody in need get the shirt?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So if you know our store on 6th in Yakima, you know that our family services office is also right next door. And we have lots of homeless friends that come and visit us. We have families that come from transitional programs, maybe coming out of homelessness, and they just got a new place and they need new clothes. They need a new apartment set up, and they come to us for help. So we are able to voucher in our own system to take those families and those individuals shopping for whatever they might need. Maybe it's a new outfit for a job interview, maybe it's a new couch for the apartment they're getting into, but those goods that you give us, they might be supporting our programs and services by a dollar amount at the cash register, but it is very likely that that exact item could be going directly to someone in need through our voucher program. And I know UGM has a similar setup. Mike, you want to talk about that?
Well, so because we have folks staying with us, we have a much more intensive process. And so when people are moving up and out, they're going to get to shop just like yours. But on a daily basis, what has to happen for us is as things are coming in off the donation dock and they're getting sorted, the donation sorting folks are having to look that against the program needs list that's coming to them every day. And so as they're moving things onto the floor, off of the floor, they're constantly looking at what the folks down at North First said they need. Hey, we ran out of pants, we need some more jeans. These are the sizes of jeans that we need for folks. And so we have a clothing room for men and women and families down at the mission at North First. And as well as essentially like a furniture and household goods store. And so our thrift stores are actually sourcing all of that stuff. And so before anything is going to get sold to anybody, we're going to know that all the program needs have been met and that the client come first. If we have to pull something off the floor to go meet a client need, we'll do it. There's absolutely no way we're going to sell something that we need down on North First and we're saying to some homeless person, sorry, you just can't have any pants because we need to sell them at the store.
And not only that, but our organizations have this really cool relationship in that as people are transitioning out of homelessness and they need a new apartment set up, Mike can 100% call us and say, we need a voucher for your store for some goods. And we know that if we meet that pantless homeless person, and we may not necessarily, like, for some reason...
Which happens, by the way, I mean, let's keep it real.
We're not saying that facetiously, it's a real situation. If for some reason our store was out of pants, we 100% can call UGM and they will pull a pair of pants for us to make sure that that need is met. So the collaborative effort between our two organizations and our stores is actually quite impressive.
Now we should point out that we can't take everything, okay? So like you talked about the shirts with holes or whatever, and I know that Tom, you know, when he got his new knee, thank you for attempting to donate that to the store. But we felt like, you know, if your knee isn't working for you, it's probably not going to work for anybody else either, you know. And so sometimes we can't take everything at the stores. We have a trash bill that's pretty hardcore. No, seriously, like people donate garbage, like stuff they don't want to have to go take to the dump, and they give to us, and we end up having to throw it away, and that totally eats in.
And then usually they come into our store and yell at us as for why our prices are so high, because we get everything for free.
Right.
Is what they say.
Yeah, they don't understand we have to spend $30,000 a month, you know, on throwing their trash away either. But they also don't understand, they don't know, like, and this is why we started, right? This is all the stuff that your donations are doing, actually. They don't necessarily know that. And so they don't understand the programs that are dependent upon that thrift store revenue. They also don't know, however, right, that if we can't sell it and we can't give it away and we can't use it, we don't have a need for it, it still doesn't go in the landfill, although if we can avoid it, then we end up bailing clothes. And so I checked, and last month in June, we ended up shipping 53,000 pounds of baled clothes through a third party, and we got paid for the pound for that stuff. And they took those clothes to Thailand, to Africa, to South America, and their kids running around with shirts in those places because we were able to sell them. So even when we can't use your knee, even if we can't use your shirt because all the client needs have been met and nobody wanted to buy it at the store either, it still actually ends up going to generate some financial income to help run programs and to help close them back some other people too. You guys bail too?
We absolutely do bail as well. And actually there's an even further environmental impact that thrift has and is accomplishing the valley. We're keeping things out of landfills, but all of those tube TVs, computer monitors, both of our organizations, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but both of our organizations run recycling programs.
Yeah, we're both e-cycling places.
To maximize the value of those items. So one, they're not going into a landfill, but two, we're still getting some program benefit from things that are really not working or not able to be sold.
It felt really important to me because I know I talk a lot, I put a lot of carbon dioxide into the environment, you know, and so I really wanted to do whatever I could to offset that wherever possible. And so we're really committed to keeping stuff out of the landfill, to e-cycling, and trying to offset the damage I do to the environment every time I open my mouth.
So, I got it. That was good.
Thank you very much.
And so we hope it's more clear to you how thrift benefits this community. We hope we've maybe changed some minds if you're not already into thrifting. If you've got a kid or a grandkid who is, go experience it with them, right? And really kind of look and maybe even educate them because they may not know that the community impact that this is having. And so if we can make doing all of these things for the community fun, and have this impact, and doing that kind of good, that is doing the most good, if I don't mind taking my slogan back, Mike.
You can have it back. Thank you for letting me borrow it.
And so we really, but there's one final piece we want to kind of talk about. And that is you've now learned about thrifting. We want to make sure that you have some time at the end of this to hit the shop if you haven't already. But you have two very unique programs presenting today that are propped up by thrift, that are assisted by thrift. And if something that we do resonates with you, it would be foolish of us to waste this face time with you to not extend an invitation. Please shop at our stores. Please donate to either of our stores. His boss is my boss. We're on the same team. Okay? Please donate to our stores. But if something that we do resonates with you, both of us would love to host a program and facilities tour. We both have, believe it or not, vacancies on our boards that you might be interested in jumping on. But it would be silly of us to come up here and tell you all the ways that our organizations love this valley, love the people of this community, and know that we already have a room full of partners in here who feel the same way about this special place, and not make that ask.
And not only are our programs so dependent upon, and we love it, that our programs are so dependent upon the community involvement of volunteers, folks coming down to serve a meal, to be involved in recovery. Our thrift stores actually put to work a lot of volunteers too, and they love it. All of the books at Summit Thrift, who's been in Summit Thrift at 56? Okay, all the books there are curated by volunteers. The books that are sold there, it's entirely curated by volunteers. This neat old couple, Hugh and Sharon, and this wonderful adult guy who's developmentally disabled, and this is what he does. Every day he comes down to the stores and he works with Hugh and Sharon, and they curate these books. And they love their time down there, and the employees love working with the volunteers. So many ways for you to get involved. Come take a tour. Come take a tour of either of our places. We would love to host you. Come get down and get engaged in volunteering. You can do it in the stores. You can do it in the programs. And I'll even not waste the time to say the truth is that without the financial contributions of the community, we can't do what we do. And so I bear no shame whatsoever in asking you for your financial support as well. I feel like we deliver the outcomes for this community. I mean, the kids every year that you guys are getting coats on the backside of at school, that's super cool. There are some neat things that you guys do that I love being a part of supporting. And we're so grateful for your support as well. And we and it is true that we've got the same boss, and that we really have this neat sense of collegiality, and that means a lot to both of us too. And so I just wanted to say, what you're doing with us, it's nice to have something that you can really feel good about, and that seems to matter more than ever in a way. Everybody's allying each other, and yet here we are coming together. So thanks for letting us have this one here. Thank you for your time. If you bought something, or you're planning on buying something, we're willing to take a question from you. Otherwise, no questions. We're willing for that, or plan back. Go. One of the things that we need the most, sell the most and make the most money. Chloe? Yeah, so clothes really are, I just want to double check. Yeah, clothes really are the thing that most people come in for. They're the thing that is the most effective for us in generating revenue, but also in meeting client needs as well. And so clothing, the furniture, all this stuff's nice, but actually really clothing is the thing. And at least for the mission, jeans are also a really, really helpful thing for meeting client needs as well. But generally speaking, clothing. Especially as we're gearing up for the back to school shopping, the number of families that lean on thrifting to get all their kids' outfits for the year is massive. So I know in our family, I think this is cutting out on me. Sure. I know for our family, we recycle our girls' clothing kind of midsummer and make sure that hits the thrift store when families would be needing to go shopping for it. If you still right at the school year, if you're getting rid of your kids or your grandkids' old clothing, it's too late for those families. They may not be in the store as actively
for that back to school shopping. So kids clothes as back to school hits is a huge one for sure.
Rick says we have time for one more question.
One more question. We'll give you, on the side.
I'll make it short. One of the things you mentioned about your Red Kettle program at Salvation Army and the success that this club helps to make that one of the most successful programs. I think it should be said that our current president, Rick Fairbrook, has been a reason that this club has been so successful. He deserves a lot of
There wasn't a question now, but thank you. Rick and I will pay you later for that.
Well, this is by sure trite by comparison, but I've taken things both places many, many times. You don't allow any plastic, like even plastic hangers. Why is that? They won't take plastic hangers ever. They'll say, we can't allow that.
We don't take plastic hangers. I am looking at Chloe back there and I'm saying, Chloe, what's up with plastic hangers? Because I'll have to admit, Jan, I have no idea what you're talking about. But that doesn't mean we're wrong. It just means I don't know, you know, and so Chloe, plastic hangers?
We typically don't take the clothes on, it's kind of it's not like a hard and fast one.
So we could take Jan's plastic hangers.
Yeah, I'll take yours, that's fine.
We'll get your little card that you flash. Please
It's
allow
mostly
hangers.
because those hangers themselves, we don't sell, we can't sell them. So they're everything has to be, we can't also recycle them with the clothes. So it's if all the clothes are on hangers, then we have to take them off of all the hangers.
So I have to take them all off hangers before they arrive.
Yeah, that is the easiest for us, and with everything, if you ever showed up with a donation and some of it is something we can't take, it won't be like, oh, you brought a tiny bag of something we don't take, sorry. Like, we expect there to be garbage, we expect there to be things that are recyclable, so it's not like here's a big list, don't ever bring these things or anything like that. It's sort of we can accept an amount of trash and recycling and stuff like that. So if you showed up and you had some, we can probably scoop them in as well. So we will do our best.
So Jan, thank you for the plastic hanger feedback, and Chloe and the rest of our team will be taking that up in staff meeting to talk about how we can. What's that?
Yeah.
But you know, we'll put out the email that says any plastic hangers marked with the name Lori written on them, we can take those. And Rick, thank you Bob for planning this ahead. We hope you enjoyed the thrift store and we hope you got the shop festival.
I don't know about you, but I think this has been a great program. We have two fabulous organizations in our community who are helping people who need help. So if we can help them in any way, we should do it. And I know that we do that at Christmas, the bell ringing. It's not me, it's all of you who say, yes, I will take a shift, or I will take 4 shifts, I'll take 4 hours in a row. Whatever it is, it's this Rotary Club, the members of this club. So we're going to continue to support both organizations individually and collectively, and thank you for coming and sharing your stories. I just want you to know that as being as your speakers today, we are going to make a donation to the Rotary Polio Plus campaign, which suddenly has become a little bit more important than it was just a few months ago. So we want to continue to support that effort. Thank you. Next week, Nick Zentner from Central Washington University will talk to us about geology. He always makes it fascinating and interesting. It's a don't miss program. If you haven't heard it before, you need to hear it next week. Rotary Picnic September 1st. And then we have Women Painters of Washington, September 8th. And that'll be, all of these are back, or actually, the picnic is at Franklin Park, the others at the Convention Center. Look at your table. It's game on. They're all empty on the backside. What we need to do is fill them up. So, it's amazing how fast time flies. We are in the middle of August, and toward the end of August. November's not that far away, really. So, participate, sign up, and it's gonna be a great event. And with that, unless I've forgotten something, we are adjourned. Thank you.